Hello everyone, I'm Nate and welcome back to my channel. On this channel I review and talk a lot about yo-yo. I do a lot of yo-yo reviews. I do a lot of other stuff as well. Mostly reviews, let's be honest. But in the last year or so, I've been trying to get away from a little bit of just kind of, or nuancing my channel and kind of adding more skill toys, because I don't just play yo-yo. That is my primary. I'm sponsored by two different yo-yo companies. And so that's kind of where my first love is, right? But I also do beglery, I even juggle, do kendama, and I've picked up a number of skill toys over the years. And so I try to talk about that, but man, sometimes when it rains, it pours, and I have quite a few yo-yos in right now. So you're gonna see a lot on this channel of just a lot of reviews for the next few things, for the next few videos rather, and I'm gonna try to spice it up as much as I can, but hopefully you like yo-yo reviews, because that's what we're gonna do again today. Last review, I actually talked about a zero gravity return tops yo-yo, and they've been killing it with new releases lately, and they have two new releases right now, technically. One's not out yet, and that's what I'm going to talk about today. So the last review was on the Basilisk D, and I mentioned how it was a overly competitive, like very much performance focused yo-yo. So of their catalog, I would argue it's still probably the most performance, highest level yo-yo that they have. So in drastic contrast to that, we have here the Mijo. All right, this is their newest yo-yo that they haven't actually released officially yet, but they have talked about, and this is a slimline yo-yo, pocket friendly, very, very different than anything else they have in their catalog currently. So let's go ahead and talk about the Mijo from Zero Gravity Return Tops. It is a hollow yo-yo, right? So if you're familiar with yo-yos like the doorknob and things like that, it has metal caps, and so you can, let me put it to the mic here, you can have that hollowness feel to it, which is kind of fun. Hollow yo-yos definitely have a very different, unique feel on the string. It just, I don't know, it's hard to explain. They almost feel kind of floaty oftentimes, depending on the diameter of the yo-yo, and depends how much space is in the middle of that hollow space. But this is a really cool yo-yo, metal caps there, and they're finger spin ready, right? So now, because it is like got no rim really at all, it's going to be not ideal for just kind of popping up and hitting a finger spin. It's not impossible, but you're gonna be pretty accurate and pretty precise to hit that. I hardly ever get that. So it's gonna be really flat, and you have to hit it just right, because it's not a very deep inset finger spin hub. What it is really cool for is doing pull starts. All right, so you can actually hold it, you know, kind of grip it there, almost like your Matadoring if they had spikes on it, but it's the opposite of that, obviously. And you can pull start that, and then you could even spin it up and do a finger spin that way and kind of turn the yo-yo that way. So very capable for that. And in fact, if you don't know how to do that, quickly learn how to do that on a yo-yo like this, and you'll have a lot of fun. And it's kind of addicting, in fact. Pocket friendly yo-yo. It is a high walled yo-yo, but it's kind of pulled a little bit so much from the gap here. It's just ever so like kind of scallops in. It doesn't angle in, it kind of more just ever so scoops in. So a little less string drag. In addition to that, this is also a D-size bearing. It comes with a bunch of different options in it. I have actually currently in here, this is machined in-house, but from Jorge himself, a fixed axle like blank that has a canal cut into it. I've never seen anything quite like that. I don't know if it's ever been done, in fact. So it's centering, okay? Really, it's more, I don't know, maybe it gives it more of just a smaller diameter more than anything than a D bearing, kind of almost a little bit like a bearing, a little bit. A metal fixed axle yo-yo is kind of fun. In addition, it comes with 3 other bearings actually. It comes with a It's a D bearing, right? So on all the options, and it comes with an axle too. So a smaller axle, shorter axle rather, for the half spec bearing. So there's a half spec bearing, okay? There's this fixed bearing. Then there is a full-size D bearing, which is concave, and then they also have a full-size D bearing that's flat. So if you wanted to kind of throw those two options in, you could do that. If you wanted to de-shield one of those D-size bearings, the full-size ones, and grease it up so it's also responsive, if you wanted a wider gap, you could do that. And so tons of options in the package, which is really nice. It also has a bearing removal tool, which we'll talk about a little bit more on how to use that. It's nice that it comes in box with that, because you might have a bearing removal tool, right? But it's probably for a C-size bearing. I'm pretty sure I have a D-size bearing one around, but it's really nice to have that in box, especially changing out those half-spec bearings. If you've ever had to do that with any kind of bearing removal tool, or try to get that, fiddle that with your hands, it's near impossible. So it's really helpful to have that. Comes in a couple different colorways. I really like this one. It has it's kind of a blue, like a muted blue base, and then like this green, I don't know, green, orange, brown sort of thing. And then like a red, pink. So it's like nice and muted colors, which is really my vibe in general. It also has stylized on there, very simple engravings. All of their yo-yos are engraved, just simple branding on there, has zero gravity return tops, registered trademark on there. And it also has the name of the yo-yo, Mijo. Let's go actually play this thing and see how it plays on the string. We'll go ahead and make sure we have all the bearing options. I'll talk mostly about the unresponsive one and the fixed axle. All right, let's get to it. Let's play this thing. All right. I am starting with the Concave D bearing in here. I like the fact that they went with a D bearing. This is not their first yo-yo that they've used the D bearing, so they've gotten used to that. But there's still some differences in this yo-yo because of the slimline, nature of it. It has that very distinctive hollow feel. If you've never played a hollow yo-yo like this, with that metal caps and that kind of cap design, it's just a very unique feel. It feels, it has, I don't know, it almost has like a floatish kind of quality to it, but it's not quite that either, because this is also slimline, so it's not wide and large, but it still kind of has like a little floaty of a quality. It's a nice and light yo-yo too, and at least it feels light. Now it is going to be a challenging yo-yo. There are some slimlines that are trying to kind of like cross the barrier of like slimline pocket yo-yo to like still performance, esque, so the gaps maybe kind of flared out a little bit more. This one's not. It's going to be a more challenging yo-yo to kind of hit the gap there, for those kind of tricks where, a little wider yo-yo maybe you're kind of used to, and you have a handicap, maybe not, let's call it a handicap, but you're just used to it, right? This is gonna like probably push you for your accuracy a little bit more, so you're gonna have to be a little bit more intentional. It's also going to push you for, making sure that you're keeping it on the plane rather, so it's not heavily rim weighted, right? It's not rim weighted really at all because of its design features. It's not unbalanced by any means. It plays really smooth. So you're going to have to be intentional that you have a perfect throw. And just like on the Basilisk D, by the way, this yo-yo is like dead smooth with that D bearing. You didn't see that miss there at all, right? So like I said, it is going to be a more challenging yo-yo to hit. So if you pick up this yo-yo for a while and kind of throw it around maybe for an hour or so, and then pick up maybe one of your wider yo-yos, you're gonna really see the benefit of the accuracy that you're gonna produce with this. All right, the other thing I talked about was with, it's gonna be a challenge to kind of like pick that up and try to hit, a finger spin just from a throw. But what you can do is a pull start. So you can just kind of grip it there, and it's pretty accurate, so you can kind of rest it on there and do a finger spin that way and what have you. But it's just fun, and you could also do that, obviously, just if you wanted to start the yo-yo that way, you could do that. Okay. All right, so that's the centering D bearing, and I'm going to go ahead and switch it out for the fixed axle bearing, because that's the one I'm most excited about. But again, in the box, it'll come with a slim bearing, which is an actual bearing. So if you wanted to make it tug responsive, you could do that. It would shrink the gap. And then it also has a flat bearing, which makes it unresponsive. And then it also has the fixed. So that's what we're going to switch out for now. Okay, so I have the fixed bearing. So it is a completely fixed axle yo-yo. Now my string is a little bit longer here than I would normally want it for fixed axle, so I'm going to actually go ahead and just manually shorten it. This is pretty great actually for fixed axle play. The response is really good. It's not going to have the greatest spin times, but that's pretty much par for the course when it comes to fixed axle play. The shape of this is great for things like stalls. Yeah, it's like a completely different yo-yo. It's a lot of fun. So I like that addition a lot. That's probably what I would lean towards. It's nice to have the responsive bearing as well. So if you wanted a little longer spin times, you could do that. But man, this one's fun. This is really fun. Definitely a good shape for fixed axle with that higher wall. It's still going to be a challenge to hit, as I'm showing you on camera here. There we go. It's still wide enough, I barely caught that, wide enough and flat enough to do, you know, like stalls or back of the hand rests, or what do we call them? Back of the hand stalls, that's what we call them, right? It just kind of laid back, just fun yo-yo that's going to challenge you, but also give you a lot of fun factor too. So that's the Mijo by Zero Gravity Return Tops, and I'll catch you in the next one later.